Hello everyone, my dear friends, listeners, students. We continue graphical user interface apps with Python. Let me remind you, we covered labels, we covered buttons. Now it's time for check buttons. Check button has two states, on and off, and I'm redesigning again color mixer. So the idea is the same, but I'm just trying to implement it using different widgets. And now color mixer is done with 3 check buttons, as you see. So I can select 3 different components of the color, RGB color, and as a result I may have 8 different colors by combining those 3 check buttons. Very simple app. And by the way, we are trying to also, in this course, we are trying to apply OOP ideas. So if you have some uncertainties, questions, weak points, please review. This is the 3rd Python course. The first is called Fundamentals. The second is called OOP with Python. And this is built basically on the top of those 2. So if you feel if you have any questions, you may review the previous 2 courses. They also published recently, Python Fundamentals and OOP with the Python. Okay, any widget supposed to be instantiated, you know that. You have to call constructor, and then the widget supposed to be added to the screen using pack method. So when you build the check button, the most important parameters are in the constructor: master, parent window or frame, actual text you're gonna see on the right side of the check mark, command, the event handler. You're already familiar with command parameter. We've used it in the previous lesson with the buttons. So command parameter allows us to immediately connect event handler function or method to the widget. But there is something new. Variable is so-called associated variable, so it's kind of widget duplicate. So it's sometimes very convenient to have behind the widget integer or string or boolean variable, and it's going to shadow your widget, automatically reflect any changes with the widgets. You can take them from the variable, so you don't have to worry. Variable going to be always synchronized with the state of your widget. Very convenient feature. As usual, we have 2 files. We have very short main script, it's still the same, and we have a class. We call it form, and we apply composition all the time. This OOP concept, composition, is used very intense. So we embed into new class existing objects. So our new form class going to have, of course, label, mixer where you show the color, you're going to have red integer variable, could be 0 or 1, because we don't have any grades of red. We have only yes, there is color, or no, there is no color. So red integer variable would be 0 or 1. And it's going to be associated variable, so it's going to basically be synchronized with the check button red. Whenever user changes this check button, this variable going to be automatically updated. We use prefixes to differentiate widgets from primitive types. So for the labels it is LBL, for the frames it's FRM, for the buttons it is BTN, and finally check buttons going to be CHB. The prefix we're going to use is CHB. So seven instance variables in our class and 2 methods, constructor and event handler. Whenever user clicks on any button, on check method going to be automatically called. So that's the content of the form class. And let's now review the coding. So the main script is pretty simple. I suggest please type, don't just watch, type the stuff you see. So that's where you instantiate the form, and all the logic, all the application logic is basically encapsulated into the form class. And the coding. So I create a mixer. I don't use any frames as in the previous lesson. I just use standard vertical layout. So all the widgets are going to be added vertically by default. I create 3 variables to reflect the states of my check buttons. And the interesting detail, if you're working with the associated variables, you have to get it using special library function int var. So it's a required step. It's not just a integer variable, it's a special integer variable, and you have to ask Python to provide for you the associated variable using int var library function. And then the magic happens here when I instantiate any of my check buttons. I provide right away those 3 variables. So whenever I change green widget, green variable is going to change. Whenever you change blue check button, blue variable going to reflect the state of it. So that's how you connect widget and associated variable. I add my widgets again vertically using pack method, and of course for all the buttons I hook them to the same event handler. I don't have 3, I have just 1, and I call it on check uncheck. Whenever user clicks on those 3, automatically associated variables are updated. For example, from 0 it becomes 1, or vice versa. If you uncheck from 1, it becomes 0. And I just, again, using format method, I transform my variables into hexadecimal format, but again, be careful, associated variables supposed to be retrieved, so we again do not access them directly. We access them using get method. Probably you may review in my previous course encapsulation lesson when we discussed why sometimes data is hidden. So those associated variables, they not supposed to be touched directly. If you want to read the value, please apply get method to those associated variables. If you want to, by the way, change it, in this application we don't need to change them, but sometimes if you want to change the associated variable, you have to call set method. So technically speaking, that's the coding, the form class. Please also try it. Connect your form class to your main script using import command. And next lesson is radio buttons and radio groups. I appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscriptions. I wish you the best. See you tomorrow. We're going to cover another TK Inter widget radio button. Bye-bye.